our On Purpose podcast. I'm Thawana, your host, and I'm so excited that you're sitting with us. So, just a little housekeeping. Remember to like, to share, and to subscribe. Hopefully, if you're sitting with us right now, you've already done subscribing. So, we'll jump right in. Again, my name is Thawana, and this is On Purpose. Welcome, welcome. What we're going to talk about, oh, by the way, I'm wearing my favorite color. It's purple, just in case anyone wanted to know. I love purple. Okay? All right. I'll move on. What we're going to talk about right now is you qualify your qualities. I'm going to say it again in the microphone. You qualify your qualities. All right? Think about that. Think about that. It's a big task, but it's your job. Okay? It's your job. You qualify your qualities. All right? So, we're going to define your qualities. This is a job that we should never hire anyone else for, to define your qualities. It's no one else's job. If you've given that job to someone else, I need you to get in touch with your HR department and you need to fire them. Okay? That's no one else's job but yours. No one gets to qualify your many amazing qualities. All right? Only you. Only you. All right? Type in the comments. You know, I love when we talk or when you guys leave comments because you never know. On top of what I'm saying, hopefully what you're commenting is encouraging someone that is watching. All right? So type in the comments. I qualify my qualities. All right? Our qualities shape our self perception and influence our interactions with others. Our qualities. It affects all of those things, our interaction and our influence. The kind of qualities that we have, okay, it shapes the world and the people around us. Our qualities, okay? Type in the comments, my qualities. It's your qualities, okay? How you see yourself is how others will see you. How you see yourself is certainly how others will see you. I love to say all the time that people will never forget their first interaction with you, whatever that looked like. If it was a bust or if it was amazing, whatever it was, if you lacked self confidence in that first interaction, if you showed up late, okay, if you talked too much, if you asked questions, but you didn't give them a chance to respond, any of those things, people will never ever forget the first time. What they say about first impressions is true. Good, bad, indifferent, whatever they are, people will never forget that moment. All right? So remember that moment, first impressions, they're impactful. If you're going to go meet someone, you have a meeting, a business meeting with someone, just remember that initial meeting interaction, it will overpower a lifetime of getting to know that person. They're never going to forget that you showed up early. They're never going to forget that when you came prepared. Okay? If that means you brought business cards or whatever that means. All right? First impressions are lasting. I promise you that. I'm going to say that again. First impressions are lasting. All right? Okay, let's move on. Your qualifications process. Let's talk about our qualifications process. How do you validate yourself? Hmm. How do you validate yourself? How do you say to yourself, I am worth sitting at this table? How do you say, I am strong enough to do this job? I am intelligent enough to have this conversation. I am impactful enough to do this presentation. Okay? How do you validate yourself? You must have something in place to validate yourself, because without validation, you won't continue to believe in yourself. Okay? You won't continue to believe in yourself without validation. It's like a flower, if I can, I don't know, be very literal. It's like a flower. If a flower doesn't get water, it's not going to keep growing. I don't care if it is from the desert, okay? Every now and then, even a flower needs water. So, how are you watering your flower? You're the flower. How are you watering you? All right? Are you hard on yourself? When people talk self-doubt to you, do you check them when they do that? Or do you laugh it off? Okay? How do you validate yourself? Are you a walking billboard of your personal experiences? I love this one. When I worked on this, I absolutely love this one because, like, do you get annoyed with those people? And don't tell them we're talking about them, but do you get annoyed with those people that go through things in life and, like, they wear it? Ooh, they wear it. They wear it on their face. Like, they come into work and you got to hear about how awful the weekend was. Like, we know you sick. Like, you don't have to keep coughing. Okay? You don't have to keep coughing. Those people that wear their experiences, let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you something about me. Pretty soon, we're going to be doing a segment on grief because I have personal experiences with grief. Not only, have I lost my mom and one of my sisters, but I was married for 19 years and he passed away. So I had never dealt with grief before that because both my parents were still living, all my siblings were still living. I think I'd lost, an aunt and uncle, my grandma, or whatever, one of my grandmas. And so I just remembered I didn't know how to be. And I'm not going to dive too much into grief, but I do want to drive this point in. I just didn't know how to be because I had nothing to connect with grief. I didn't know that level of loss. Okay. I did not know that level of loss. So, in turn, I got myself, my happy hips, in some type of counseling because I needed to know. What I did know was that I couldn't stand still, I couldn't sit in it because it was grief alone is all consuming, all right? But what I did know, and this is the point that I'm going to leave with you about grief, and I'm going to leave it alone because I do want to come back, in another segment because we're approaching the holidays, and so people are challenged with grief, all right, around the holidays. But this is the point I want to make. What I did know about grief was there was this perception of what a widow looked like. And in my mind, it was like, I don't know, like when you see famous people and their spouses pass away, certainly men, the women always wore black and they wore a veil and they looked a certain way. And listen, me talking about grief, I hope that no one that's experiencing it or has or dealing with it, please don't be offended by anything that I'm saying because, like, I'm right there with you. I am happily married, remarried again, and but still grief creeps up in weird kind of ways. But all I knew, all I knew was that whatever a widow looked like, I didn't want to look like that. All right? Because I had a perception of how they looked, how they moved, like they were emotionalists and they were not um, they didn't have, friends, they didn't socialize, whatever. So that's what I'm saying when I drive that point in. All I knew about grief was that I didn't want to look like whatever a widow looked like. Okay? So I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to leave that alone. So stop being a walking billboard of your experiences, all right? Don't sit in them. And if you are sitting in them emotionally, internally, listen, my mom used to always tell us, do not go out this house looking like what you feel like. Okay? Do not go out looking like what you feel like. Like sometimes we got to endure it on your Facebook post. Sometimes we got to endure it on your lives. We know when you're going through. We know. Let me tell you something. What you will never catch me doing is struggling publicly. Just not going to happen. I'm not an emotional social media poster. So you're not going to catch me posting my emotions. All right. So stop being that kind of billboard. Okay. If you want to be a billboard of positivity, be a billboard of encouraging others, but don't be a billboard of your personal experiences. We all go through stuff. Do your best, people, not to wear them on your sleeve. Do your best that when people see you coming, they don't go the other way. People see you coming to the coffee Keurig at the office and they standing there trying to make their coffee. They're going to leave their whole cup of coffee because they see you coming. Because you coming with some old moping kind of stuff. All right? Let's clean that up. All right? Let's clean that up. Okay? Does external feedback qualify your qualities? What someone has to say about you, like I said earlier, negative, good, bad, indifferent. What does it do for your qualities? Or should you just know who you are and the qualities that you possess? All right? Should you? Is that your job? Is it somebody else's? Can they give you feedback? Yes, they can. Can you stop them? No, you can't. But should it affect you in a way where it decides how you move? All right? It should not. And if it is, then you got to close that door. All right? You have given someone too much influence over you. And you want to change that because if you don't, they're going to always decide what you do, if you're good enough to do it, if you're good at it, and all of that. Okay? So watch that. Self awareness and reflection. Let's talk about that. Do you embrace tools like journaling or self assessments? Okay. I used to love journaling. I don't really do it as much anymore, but I tell you what I do enjoy, and it came with grief. I do enjoy just sitting with myself. All right. Now, sitting with yourself takes some real maturity, and everyone can't do it because silence is loud. Okay? Type that in the comments. Silence is loud. All right? But let me tell you something. When you sit with yourself and self assess, you learn things about yourself. You can be honest with yourself because nobody but yourself. All right? But some people, I have friends that journal every day. All right? They journal every day and it's amazing for them. It works for them. All right. I may not journal with like a journal writing stuff out, but my notepad on my phone is always full. Okay. It's always full. So find a way to be okay with sitting with yourself. Find a way to be okay with taking a drive by yourself. Listen, I had never flown by myself until this year, and I can tell this story, but once I remarried, um, this man loves to travel, okay? And so typically going in an airport or somewhere with him, everything is very intentional. Everything is, okay, we're going to leave at 2 o'clock. We're going to get to the airport by 3:15. Then we're going to be walking to the terminal. And then once we check in, we can get coffee. That's the way he is, okay? So to go with him somewhere, you don't need to think for yourself. All right. He's going to think for you. Okay. You don't need to think for yourself. But when I had to take a trip by myself, and it was a work thing, it wasn't even that far. It was to Fort Lauderdale. Okay. So I just gave away. I live in Florida. So it was in Florida. I had to go to Fort Lauderdale. Freaking out because I was just like, where do I go? What do I do? Where do I check my bag? Where is just all this stuff? Okay. So all I'm saying to you is You have to be okay with sometimes jumping out there and trying something new and different. And it's okay if it doesn't. Now, that trip didn't look like what I would have taken with my husband, but it was okay because I had some bloopers, some blunders. But I had to fly to Washington a few weeks after that, and I did it like a big girl. Did it like a big girl, okay? So don't be afraid, but find ways to find tools for yourself. Self assessments, they're all over the internet, okay? They're all over the internet. You'll learn amazing things about yourself with self assessments. Don't be afraid. Google it when you're done watching this podcast. Self assessments, okay? Type in the comments, I'm going to take a self assessment this week, okay? This week. Sometimes it helps to just sit with yourself and reflect. I love the water. And if I'm going to hop in the car and go somewhere just to get my thoughts together, it's going to be wherever some water is. Wherever some water is. All right? Challenging perceptions. Why do we often undervalue what makes us unique? Now, this, I think, is a whole nother segment. Why do we always undervalue what makes us unique? All right? It could be anything. It could be like a scar. It could be your eyes. It could be your teeth. It could be anything. But why do we undervalue something that makes us unique? All right? Seek out strategies for overcoming those mental barriers and embrace all aspects of your personality. Embrace it all. It whatever it is that makes you who you are, embrace it. Embrace it. Don't let anyone else try to convince you of something that you should be applauding yourself about. Like, this makes me unique and different. Like most of you know that are kind of close to me, like I had rotator cuff surgery a few years ago. Well, I didn't realize I was going to be left with, I knew I was going to have a scar, but I've always liked being sleeveless. This is just me talking because that's what we do, right? We just talk. But it took me a while to be comfortable with my shoulders being out again. Now, this same scar is the same scar everyone else has when they have rotator cuff surgery. So what was I going to do? Like always wear long sleeves because of that? I had to embrace it. I had to embrace it. And I'm telling you, it's been probably about 4 years now, maybe 3 years. Maybe 3 years. I don't know of one person that's walked up to me when they saw me with my shoulders out and said, "Oh, where'd you get that scar from?" So for a while, I'm, freaking out about something that nobody even cares about. All right. Okay. If you want to change something about you, do it and don't apologize for it. Don't apologize for it. If you don't like your hair, change it. And that's that. All right. If you don't like, I don't know, your size, do something about it. And you don't need to make a Facebook post about it. All right. What you don't like about yourself, if it can be changed, then change it. If it's going to make you feel better, then change it. All right. But if you're okay with your hips, honey, and your curves, but somebody else has a problem with it, it's just their problem. Right? It's just their problem. It's not your problem because you like it. It's unique, it makes you different, and you're okay with it. So we don't change for other people. We change because we want to change. All right? The role of feedback. Let's talk about this feedback. Because you're going to get it. Okay, let me speak proper. You're going to get it. You're going to get feedback. All right? How is it going to affect you? If it's good feedback, like, don't let it blow your head up. Don't be walking around here with a swole head because people are giving you good feedback. Stay humble. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Type it in the comments. I'm going to stay humble. Don't let people sell you and blow you up. And then your head's so big, like no one can touch you, reality can't even find you. Stay humble. If feedback is not so positive, listen, I got another segment coming up about knowing when to match energy. When feedback is not positive, listen, don't get yourself all in a tizzy trying to go back and forth with someone. People got opinions all day long. You have them, you express them. Doesn't mean they're well received, okay? But if you find someone constantly coming after you with their negative feedback, you might want to deal with that. You might want to make some adjustments, okay? All right? You might want to make some adjustments, okay? It can also serve as a guide to recognizing and qualifying our strengths and areas for growth. That's constructive feedback. Okay? Only accept constructive feedback from people you trust. All right? I couldn't very well get on here, sit before you do a podcast and ask your opinion on what I should do because people have opinions and they're going to say whatever. Some of it will be nice, some of it won't. Y'all better be nice or I won't. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But constructive feedback, make sure it's coming from people that you respect. You can look at their lives and you can appreciate it because sometimes those that are close to us will kind of have to give us a little wedgie and give us some constructive feedback. But if people tiptoe around giving you feedback, it's because you don't know how to accept it, all right? And you got to work on that because people can mean you well, but they don't know how to come to you because the last time they said something, you just called your cousins and stuff. So don't do that, all right? Take this feedback from people that you trust, okay? The power of authenticity. I love this one. If I have like a little talking point about this segment that I love the most, it's about being authentic. And again, I'm doing a little giveaway. I have an amazing person that's going to come on and I'm going to talk with him about being authentic, okay? I want to encourage you to celebrate your qualities without needing external validation. Celebrate your own qualities. Like you don't need anyone to do that. Now, I'm not saying walk in church in the morning, sashaying in with your nice hat on, and somebody saying, "Oh, I love your hat," and then you're saying, "Oh, me too." Thank you will suffice. All right. Thank you will suffice. But listen, make sure that you're not in a place where you're needing someone to constantly lift you up and pick you up. No one can do that but you. And I said earlier, if you hired someone in that position, you need to call HR and you need to fire them. Okay? You need to figure out, ask HR, hey, listen, I gave somebody a role in my life that they don't deserve. How do I get rid of them? All right? You cannot give people this amount of power and control over you that when they say something that could have been said in a different way, but because you made them the boss of your qualities and you've given them the job to qualify your qualities, when they come with the negativity, like you're devastated, you're hurt, you're busted up, like people got to pick you up off the floor. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. However you want to do it, I'm not here to judge, okay? If you need some suggestions, call me. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Okay. Personal growth journey. Look around you to see who you've witnessed grow and develop, okay? Talk to them. Ask questions. Listen to their personal stories for inspiration. All right? You got people right around you moving and shaking. If you want to move and shake, it may be something different. But if you need some inspiration, let me tell you something. I got a little circle, all right? Village, whatever you want to call it. It's probably about 5 of us. Like, we're never in the same place at the same time. All right. We're never in the same place in our lives at the same time. And it works amazing for us. It works amazing for us because we can count on going to that little circle to say, hey, I'm thinking about doing whatever. And I'm telling you, if you're not sure about it, don't tell my friends that circle I got, because they're going to hold your feet to the fire. All right. They're going to hold your feet to the fire. So you need a circle and a village like that. If you don't have a circle and a village like that, that's not checking on you to say, hey, you mentioned this 6 months ago. I don't see nothing shaking. You need a new village. You need a new circle. All right? Okay. So listen, I'm excited about this hashtag and I want you guys to use it, use it, use it. I want you to type it in the comments. And this hashtag is simply, I qualify my qualities. That's the hashtag. Type it in there and I want you to go to Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, whatever your platforms are, and I want you to use this hashtag. I qualify my qualities. All right? I qualify my qualities. Again, no one else's job. Don't give it to them. Okay? All right? I want you to think about one quality that you undervalue and reflect on how you can begin to embrace it moving forward. Think about one quality that you have, that you've undervalued, that you have pushed to the side, like, I don't know. I don't know. Think about one. Think about one, okay? And reflect on how you can begin to embrace it moving forward. All right? Think about that. Remember, one thing at a time. One thing at a time. Don't go trying to give your life this total transformation overnight. That's just not how it works. One quality that you've undervalued, okay? Think about that, all right? So remember the hashtag, I qualify my qualities, all right? This is On Purpose. I am Thawana, and thank you for hanging out with us. Before you go, I hope you made a ton of comments, all right? I hope you gave it a thumbs up. It's simple, it's right there. Just a thumbs up. Click it. Subscribe, it's right there, all right? Subscribe so you never ever miss a segment, all right? And as I always say, remember, whatever you do, do it on purpose.